Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition, the April 2016 edition of the NGGN Genealogy Education Hangout. My name is Shannon Combs-Bennett. I am one of the education chairs for the group. Joining me is Eric Wells, my co-conspirator. Hi, Eric. How are you this morning?
Hi, Shannon. I'm doing great.
Great. Good to hear that. So today we are going to be talking about how to edit images and photographs, as well as how to have good digital naming practices for your
Yeah,
images.
there's my grandmother had a box just packed full of photographs, and there were thousands and thousands of photographs. And when I first looked at this box, I don't know, about 7, 8 years ago, it was like, what am I going to do with all of these? And she was totally stuck too. She had no idea. She's like 80 years old,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she doesn't own a computer, doesn't uh, has like a cell phone for emergencies, gets her television through an antenna, so it's not like she's
No bunny ears?
no. It was a little bit of a challenge just to upgrade her to that new HD TV signal that they did a few years ago. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to get a crash course on the best way to get these photos scanned and edited, and then also like what you said, good naming practices for the photographs too. One of the first programs that I found, what to handle scanning all these pictures,
Mm-hmm.
was actually a company called Scan Cafe.
Oh,
Have
I
you
haven't heard of them. Mm-mm.
no? Oh, I actually really enjoyed them. So if it had been like maybe a couple of hundred and I wasn't working full time, probably could have sat at my coffee table and watched TV at night and scanned them one by one. But with the several thousand that she had, and a lot of them were turn of the century photographs, on
Mm-hmm.
cardboard, or what?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Um, I just didn't quite have the right equipment to do it, nor did I have the time. So I used Scan Cafe, and they were fantastic. I recommend them. I know we're not getting paid to sponsor them or anything, which we were, but I really enjoyed them. I used them several times for not only my grandmother's but my mother's photographs and things like that. And they didn't lose a single photograph. Everything came back exactly the way I sent it. And I also used some local places. We have some camera shops here. Walmart, I know, you can do it manually there, but I have a local camera shop, mom and pop camera shop, that invested in a lot of the scanning technology, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. There were a little bit of, but just my particular one, there was a little bit of hurdles that had to get past first to kind of meet what I expected, but it worked out well too for the smaller batches.
I was going to say, my grandmother in the 1980s and into the early 1990s, she actually did what you just said. She went to her small camera shop, local owned camera store, photography center in her little town, and took in all of the historic old pictures she had.
Yeah,
And at that time, one, she wanted to have copies made so that she could give them to all of the grandkids and her children. But then they also, because, remember the time period, they put them on a CD for her.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. And so this technology and this principle, if people think this is a new thing, I just want to put it out there that they've been doing it
yeah,
for a while. We've been
yeah.
thinking ahead, right?
I got a couple of DVDs back, and I could have had them all put the pictures, and actually the old 8 millimeter video that we had. I had them all put it on a hard drive that they just sent, and it was really, really good quality.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's not new technology, that's for sure. It was expensive, I'm sure, back in the day.
I didn't ask. It was just a nice present. Seeing
Yeah,
as that was like 30 years ago now. Oh, 25.
yeah.
Oh God, I don't want to think about it. But
But
yeah.
I made copies of this DVD with all the pictures on it, and I gave it out to all of my aunts and uncles and whoever else was interested. So now those pictures that were only in paper form can now be in a digital form and spread out, and they'd be less likely they would lose their context or disappear.
Right, or be destroyed from
Yeah,
overhandling.
right.
That's one of the big things that I know a lot of conservationists, especially photography conservationists, tell people, and I hopefully a lot of the family historians and genealogists out there listening to this, um, is that you don't hang the originals. Make a copy, make a good
That's right.
quality copy, and then put the copy in the digital frame and then preserve and archive away the original. That way, if something happens to it or, it falls off the wall or, something happens to the house, you don't lose the original.
Yeah, I've got some of my very favorite and special photographs, old photographs, in a safe deposit box, along with the archive DVD copy of all of those photographs too and videos.
Wow, you like plan ahead and everything.
I have a
I
safe
like,
deposit box. I might as well stuff it full of stuff.
I'm like, that's a great idea. Wonder how I do that. I hadn't thought about that. Miss Cheapy here.
Well, you have a bank account somewhere, don't you?
In another state.
It's in your mattress.
In another state.
Oh man.
I do digital online banking.
Yeah.
See, I don't have a local bank. Huh. This is a concept. I will figure something out. I didn't, so this is how I store things. I have archival boxes in my closet. And then I have the I have the box of everything, which my children have been told if the house burns down, you come and grab this box.
Do not grab your brother, grab the box.
That's right. This is we're bad. We're bad people.
But yeah, you could actually scan the photographs yourself if you had a nice scanner and uh, hooked it to a laptop or something and just sat down day after day
And did it.
while you're watching TV or something. Um, but what is important is the quality that you scan them at, because I've seen so many photographs that have been scanned at such low resolution,
Hmm.
and it's sad, honestly, because the original photographs look so much better than these poor low quality scans turn out. So at least 600
DPI.
PPI, at least that's kind of what I recommend. But since a DVD has got so much space on it, you can even up it from there. But when you get these photographs back and the scan photographs, they're going to look exactly like the originals did. And so you'll see tears on them, you'll see scratches on them, you'll
Hmm.
see stains on them, or little bits of flecks or discoloring on them as well.
Right.
So what do? Do you use the originals, or do you actually fix them up and make them look brand new? I, for one, like keeping both the original and fixing them up to make them look gorgeous again.
Right.
And there's a lot of programs out there that can do it, like Photoshop. Photoshop is one, but you've got to pay for it. Do you want to talk to that about that a little bit, Shannon?
Sure.
Well, not necessarily how to do it, but
Okay. Well, I do have Photoshop, and it is for those people who can get it off of the Creative Cloud. It does everything you need. It can highlight, it can enhance, it can, fix tears. It is the software that a lot of the people, if you're going to pay somebody to restore, it is one of the software programs, especially the really good one, that they're going to use. So if you can weasel your way into getting this program,
yeah,
um,
beg, borrow, don't
yeah,
steal.
no, and really work with it because there is a learning curve. But I want to say what's really nice about Adobe programs is they actually have video tutorials
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there, which is how I learn how to use that software because I get to a part and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I'll put that on one screen and on my other monitor, I'll pull up the videos and literally go, okay, so this is the next step, pause, do that, come back.
yeah,
And it's they write their programs so a middle schooler can understand them. That is the that is the mentality. They're like, if your teenager or your, sixth grader can follow along with this video, that's how easy they want it
Oh
to be.
wow. So the video, that's how they write their videos?
Yeah, with the teenage mind in.
Oh. So what, Justin Bieber is kind of
Oh,
doing it?
no. No, they're still adults and people who work there who do it, but they try to make it as simple and use those types of words and nothing over the top of anybody, They want
Yeah.
to make it very clear and very concise. But I enjoy working with Photoshop, like I said, because I can make multiple copies right on my computer, and then I can like play with the tent on one, see how it looks, and if it, I don't have to worry about destroying an original or sending it away because I get really nervous about sending stuff away to people.
Yeah, yeah, and that's totally justified.
Hmm.
Um, a good alternative to Photoshop, it's not nearly as powerful, but it is pretty powerful, is a program called GIMP.
Hmm.
It's open source, and so it's free, and basically whoever knows how to code can contribute and work on this photo editing program. And it's really, really cool. But again, there's this learning curve, and there's videos out there. When I was doing editing, the two tools that I used the most was the clone tool and the heal tool. And those two tools took care of the vast majority of scratches, tears, stains, and spots.
Right.
But GIMP had a bit of a learning curve. When I first opened it up, I'm like, okay, now what?
Yeah, there's no real instructions.
No, there isn't. No, but luckily we have YouTube, we have the internet, and
Mhm.
they have a very helpful user guide on their website, and I learned pretty quickly.
Yeah, I started using GIMP when it first came out because my husband's a programmer and he's like, you should use this.
Mhm.
And that is what he put on my computer because he's also cheap and it was free. But it's a great little program.
It
It
is.
really is. And you can't knock it because it's free.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And you can do just about anything. Like there's layering and uh, color adjustments and all sorts of fun things that you can do with it as well. Um,
now how do you like to save your files? There's always a back and forth between GIF, JPEG, PNG. What do you do?
I like JPEG, and but when there is like an odd shaped uh, photograph, whether it's tapered at the bottom or it's oval, and I am actually cropping it in that oval, then I save it as a PNG because the background is transparent, just that it won't be that square shape like or a rectangular shape. Whereas JPEG, if you have an oval photograph or
Mhm.
something tapered at the bottom, the background is always going to be white and it'll show up.
Right.
So when it's an odd shape, I use a PNG. When it's just a regular rectangular photograph, I use JPEG.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, that's usually what I do too. I just
Yeah.
think it's a good, people always ask. It's always a good thing. It's like, why are there all the different, you know,
Yeah.
file types? What are the differences? And we could spend forever talking
Yeah.
about those file by itself. But people have a basis. If you realize that JPEGs, you're going to have the white background. If you do it with PNG, you're not, and
Right.
all those types of things. That's important.
A lot of professional photographers, when they're taking pictures with their cameras, they'll use like a TIFF format or a
Hmm.
RAW format. But those are when you know what you're doing with heavy editing, and you
Right.
can manage the gigantic files that they're working with, and you're wanting to print huge, size photograph or something like that, billboard size.
Right. And I think it's important that when you're saving your images, you realize that some people don't realize that they can change the dot extension
Hmm.
at the end. Because, for example, my scanner, when I scan and it detects a photograph, it automatically saves it as a TIFF
Yeah.
unless I change it. Um, and I couldn't figure out why I was having all these large files. And then I went back, I'm like, like look at that. Well, that makes sense because some of the programs that I was using at that time won't open
Yeah.
those files. They're too big. So I had to go back and resave them as JPEGs so that I could open them.
Yeah, when I've run into that, I've got a small little utility program called Batch Photo.
Hmm.
I can dump all of these photographs and it'll convert it in one shot, or it'll resize them if they're too big, um, and just make or rotate them if they're all rotated one way. So it's a little program called Batch Photo. But I got to tell you, the vast majority of editing I did on those thousands of photographs I got from my grandma, the vast majority of editing I did was on Google's Picasa.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, earlier this year, they discontinued it. So if you can somehow manage to grab a copy out there in the interwebs, I'm sure there's some clever people who have managed to save that program where you can install it. It was amazing. Not only was it really simple to be able to fix little dots or tiny little scratches or stains on your photograph, but it had a simple one-click I feel lucky tool, which would just automatically color it. And it also had a facial recognition feature to it. So you can have all of these photographs with people's faces on them and start training this program how to, or who was in these photographs, and it'll start picking up other photographs that had the same people in it. But they are no longer supporting it. They're going all to the web. And, oh, geez, looks like we dropped Shannon. But they all are going to the web with their whole photo system, and they're no longer supporting Picasa. So rip Picasa, but see if you can find it out there in the interwebs. Are we still recording? I have no idea. I don't even know if I can turn this off. Anyways, well, that's it for now. I'm going to hang up because I don't know if I can do it from my end and if we're even still recording. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next month.